dungeon. The dungeon. I will never forget the first time I stepped into the dungeon. My knees were quaking. What was I doing? Who did I think I was to try this? If my submissive had been allowed to speak, he would have said, I'm waiting for you to hold the power. I'm waiting for you to take charge so that I can surrender, so that I can let go of the pressures and the hundreds of decisions that I'm responsible for. So how exactly did I end up in the dungeon? In a dominatrix outfit. We're talking black leather corset, thigh-high boots, and a nasty little whip. Let me give you some background. So I grew up in a religious cult. Mild though it may have been, it still set the stage for abuse. In fact, I can remember that day when I was 14, and I gathered up my courage to tell my father what my stepbrother had been doing to me, and then how my stepmother intervened and declared that clearly I needed to wear more clothes. By the time I was 18, I had had enough of this craziness. I needed out. But I was afraid, like throwing up kind of afraid. And even though I was scared, I knew I had to do this. I had to get out. So pushing past that fear, I left everyone I knew, all the community I'd ever trusted, and I stepped out into this unknown world. That began the journey of the discovery of me, to unravel and untangle the mess I grew up in and sort out who I was. Along the way, I put myself through massage college, started a business, got a spouse, got a house, got a cat. I had it together. On the outside, at least. On the inside, I was dying. I was lost, depressed, and having an affair with food. In fact, I can remember going to the store with my friend and buying one of those family-sized chocolate bars, telling my friend, it's going to last all week, knowing full well that as soon as I was alone, I'd eat the whole thing. I was a mess, but I didn't know how to fix it. I'd been to every kind of therapy I could find, read hundreds of self-help books, been to far too many workshops, but this was as good as it got. Until one day, a new client came in to see me, and she disclosed to me that she was into kink, and she wanted me to know so that I wouldn't be alarmed by the marks and the bruises. Well, this sparked something in me. I needed to know more. Every time she came in, I'd ask her more and more questions. I read all the books that she lent me, and still I needed more. Now, I knew that the relationship that I was in at that time wasn't going to allow me to explore the kink. So when I finally left him, the first thing I did was call up my client. When's the next party? Because I'm in. There's this great buddy system in the kink community where they keep an eye on the newbies and make sure that you don't end up in dangerous situations. I told my buddies, I'm just going to observe. About an hour later, I'm sitting there with handcuffs on. And an hour after that, I'm up at one of the PlayStations with somebody spanking my ass. So much for scoping things out. As I explored my submissive side, the most incredible thing happened. I was able to recreate the memories from my childhood, reenact the abuse, and have a different outcome. In the past, when I thought about the memories, I would feel stressed and on guard. And yet this very taboo thing to do, this kink world, was the very thing that transformed my body. For the first time, I was able to relax. I was finally able to give up being hypervigilant. I had found peace. Now, the healer in me thought, I wonder how many other people are out there like me, doing this self-help stuff, reading books, going to therapy, but nothing's really working. I knew in that moment I had to take other people on this journey. So I picked up the whips and discovered the gifts of being a dominatrix. Which brings me back to the dungeon. Despite my nerves, despite my trepidation, I took a deep breath and I owned that new role. Thank you.